Yes, sir. We are back. Week 13.
I like the logo discovery.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
Red.
what we wanted.
I
The
couldn't hear
festivity.
shit. Couldn't hear
Yeah,
shit.
you can't hear the music. You just vibe to it. You're like, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah. Because you feel the groove.
Feel the groove.
Week 13. Hey, look, we got Steve Vin on the show today.
Yes.
What up, Steve?
What up?
Not shit.
Yeah, seriously,
Hey,
long
Carry
time no
on.
see from the office, right?
Yeah. From office to office, Willie.
Yeah, this is actually arguably more important office here.
Oh
True,
yes,
especially as of late.
Oh, yeah, especially as of late. I know. Yeah, Nuttiest. The show, we were thinking about it and everything last week, but yeah, me being gone and Diz Ghost and Red there. Yeah, anyways, we're here. We're throwing it together. A lot of thoughts about the last week, management over the season, just all kinds of things. Yeah, we're going to break it down. So, yeah, I'll just start off by saying I got the 1-2 goosh from COD just cranked all over me to finish it off. Just so pissed off, dude. 130 points. There you go. You guys have, how was your guys' week? I was kind of yeah, tell me about it.
Well, yeah, better days are ahead, boys. This is the week that you take it out to the trash bin, you throw it in the trash bin, you walk back inside, put a new trash bag in. There we go.
Gabi keeps trying to claim this last game as being close. You make the argument that it wasn't close because if it was a 17-point victory, if different players play at different times, that game's not actually close. So I think it's actually debatable of whether or not that game was close. My week was good.
Yeah, that's fair. Dude, it was just like, as I caught up on the league and coming back, it was like everybody's still in the race. I didn't realize that Gabi's also climbed up quite a bit until, he fell to you, but it's so tight. And you can't stop thinking about some of the moves that were made at the trade deadline. That's just like, oh man, if you're pushing for the playoffs, you have a chance. There's so many questionable things. But this last week was interesting. Dude, and also I know I've heard around a couple different people in the league, but Nut just quietly having one of the best seasons ever. Just it feels like it's going under the radar.
But that's why he wants there to be more shows, because he's missing the chance. He's missing all these opportunities for his best team ever to be talked about, which yeah.
Right. How do you feel about his team, Red?
About whose team?
Nut.
I feel like he's got a good team. I don't know. Last year I went into the playoffs and my team, I tempered expectations. A lot of people didn't believe in me, and you know what? I made it to the end, and so maybe this year, maybe the same thing happens where we have these crazy expectations for Nut. Something happens, he doesn't make it quite all the way. So you never know. It's fantasy, but I'm proposing a rule next year of Gabi not being allowed in the league because he likes to build super teams for other players. It started out with Gare, and now it's transferred over to Nut, and I just can't believe that Nut now has JSN right next to Jahmyr Gibbs. That just really sucks. So it's cool.
Yeah, I feel like though with Nut's team, it's still. Because like the first week he had Gibbs, I beat him, and he was talking shit about. Hey, by the way, shout out to the Podly, but I was listening to that, and Nut just talking about like his team and everything. It's like, well, I beat you, or he shit on my team actually, and said I was like a fucking rusty old mobile underneath. I'm like, dog, I just beat you like a couple weeks ago, and that was when you had Jahmyr Gibbs still. So,
Willie, do you know the name of that car that I tagged you as in the group chat?
Tugger, right?
Oh, I thought it was. Is it Tugger?
I didn't see it.
Vader.
Well, it could be that. I don't know. I thought
what is
Tugger
it?
Perfect, but
He's the tow truck from Cars. I thought his name was Mater, but maybe
Oh,
it's Tugger.
isn't his name Mater?
That's what
It's
I
probably
thought.
Vader. Tugger just sound. I don't know. Like he's tugging. I don't know. I thought maybe there was like an inside joke that went along with that one. So I don't know.
No, I was
So-
just seeing if you knew the Cars franchise.
No, I didn't honestly didn't even see it. And
His name's Toe Mater.
oh, it's Toe
Oh,
Mater.
yes. Okay.
Oh, Toe Mater.
But let's also think about the week that you beat Nut. You scored 161 points. He still scored 125, and Gibbs had 35 that week. So, like, yeah, he's shitting on your team. He's shitting on your team, but at the same time, like, we still have to put up 126 points to beat him that week. Like, that's crazy.
Well, kind of feels like it's like that's becoming the. I'm not saying the 125, but to really feel comfortable, it's you got to score closer like 110. Try to hit the teens there in the hundreds because, I mean, dude, everybody, like even Cranky Pot, it's like 130. You just don't know when it could happen, and it seems like everybody's team has ability to do that for the most part, outside of our sewer people. But it's interesting. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way, like putting up the same or just a shit ton of points? Because I don't really feel good until it's just over. Like, I don't care how many points I'm scoring.
Yeah, same. It's actually been frustrating. I haven't had a single game this year where I can just sit back and be like, okay, I'm going to win this one, or, well, this is over. None that I can remember anyway. And I feel like there's – yeah, I mean, look at the points per game right there. I feel like we typically have 1-2 people averaging over 100, and it's usually like 105-ish range, not 120.
It's very like I go back to it, loaded baked potato. Like
Hell yeah, chives, baby, chives.
The top of it, man. I'm just like it's so top heavy. Yeah, 120, almost 120 points per game. Like Nut the last 3 weeks is averaging over 130 points. So like that's pretty hard to like compete with, right? But I will say I had two straight weeks of feeling great. Scored over 100 points both weeks. My opponents put up like shitty numbers because they just aren't good teams. And I was like, yeah, this is nice. I didn't have to worry about it. And then fantasy just tempered me and brought me right back down to earth because I scored 64 this week and basically flipped on me. So I'm right back to wondering what I got to do. So
Yeah. Go ahead,
Willie,
Kyle.
just because I've got got the scoring tab pulled up on the historical stats on the Nut report.
Mhm.
So what year did auction start? 2021?
2020? 2021. No.
2021.
2019, I think.
2019, 2020, we were at Palm Springs.
Okay,
Yeah.
2019. I'm going to read off the three numbers corresponding to the number of 100-point games, the top three of each year. So 2019, we had an 8, 8, and 4. So the third most 100-point games in a season was you were third place with only 4 100-point games. Okay, 2020, 7, 7, 6. 2021, 9, 8, 7. 22, 9, 8, 7. 23, 8, 7, 7, 7. 24, 9, 8, 8. And so far this year, 11, 9, 6.
Damn. I'm guessing, are you ninth in that this year?
Yeah. Nut 11, myself 9, and then both of you guys tied with 6, along with Jesse.
Yeah.
Well,
that's very interesting with the whole Jesse one because I feel like if you had like 600-point games, you would typically see like a little, not being 6-6. I feel, but that's indicative to what we're talking about, right? Where you can't feel comfortable even if you score 100. You got to get that extra, that extra 5 or 10 points or whatever.
Yeah, I like what you said, Willie. The new 100 is. We'll see what next year if it just keeps climbing. But if we climb again, the new 100 is 110.
What do you guys think it is? Like, why do you think we're so high right now?
Well, I think one is draft. Like, I think draft cash wise, I think that the selling of the team is much more prominent now than it has been in the past. Like, it just gets more and more every year. I feel like this year was almost a little bit like an anomaly. I felt like it was a closer race. Like, there were so many subpar teams this year that nobody really wanted to sell off because they could still push for that 8th seed, right? Versus other years where it's like, oh, I'm 3-6. Like, there's just, I'm not gonna, everybody else has a winning record. Like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna sell off. So I think just now, like, Nut had a lot of money coming into this last year. I had a decent amount of money. You and Cal obviously didn't, but you guys have obviously made moves and been more consistent inside the league. So I just think like there's just I really do think it's like a money aspect, like being able to draft teams that produce this amount of points, but also I think we're somehow getting worse management wise as we go along with this. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I just feel like there's more top heaviness that's happening each year versus how it has been in the past.
Okay, Cal, give me your reason why you think it's higher, and then I want to talk about that because that has been the circle of discussion.
I think it's exactly what Red said. But I look at the league in 3 phases. Phase 1 was what we had never played fantasy before, aside from Gare, the first year when he won. What do you know? It pays to have played before. And then I don't know the specific year, but after 6-7 years, there was like we would have had 3 or 4 years where we still weren't into the auction era, but everybody was comfortable in what we were doing, and the league had kind of solidified itself. The members weren't changing like they were. We weren't even 14 teams for the first year. I think 2 years. I think just first year.
First year.
And then the third portion is when we went sleeper auction, and I think the same thing. Everybody kind of started at a baseline, and to Red's point, the further each year that we go by, that we get further past that, I think there are teams that are lapping other teams. And so if you get 10 years down the road here, you're going to be having to take no good years and hoping you don't blow a tire in order to win.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, like, for Nut, at least, I think he obviously put together a really good team with all the money he had. And I mean, Nut's just a savvy dude as far as figuring out the weird guys out there that like plug and play, and you got chimneys and whatever, it's like, but and I guess it's kind of like goes into it. It's just like some of the management also played a factor into not being able to get like the juicy team that he has. The big one you could think of, Gobby, is Jahmyr Gibbs. And so it's like, okay, Nut's able to put that together. And I think if others are also able to put some stuff together too, like that's how we kind of like ended up here with this top heavy feeling. But at the same time, I think it actually goes back more just like the management this year. Dude, I was listening to that pod lead when I was driving through LA, man, and I was busting up laughing because I thought, like, even with Nut talking about my JMO trade, I still thought he was right, but it was just like everything I thought he said was spot on. And I was like, dude, what is going on out there? Jaden trading for that Goddard dude and then storing like the three tight ends. Try get that goddamn Tyler Bass off your freaking IR spot, dude.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through the teams right now just to call out a couple things. Higgins is now, or he's been out. Yeah, get Bass off the team, put Higgins in that spot, pick somebody else up, and then you've got, let's see, we go to Alex's team. This is why I'm constantly saying that I hate that he has such a nice record since entering the league. He's got Waller. He will never start Waller over Andrews, so whatever. Waller is still on IR. Alex should move Waller to his IR spot, and then Alex will have two open spots on his bench. What are we doing? I don't want to lose to somebody that goes into the weekend with two open slots on their bench, because that makes me feel worse about losing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, so I just kind of feel like it's, I don't know, like hearing it out loud with the pod league there, but also like we've been noticing it. I know, Red, you and I have talked about it on Wilson Time plenty of times, but it's just like some of the moves, which they're not always, it's not always going to be like fantastic or work out for you. But like what's happening right now, it's like, oh, come on, man. I'm like, dude, Trike and B. Johns, you guys matchup last week. I was like, yeah, I was barely even paying attention, didn't know anything going on. And it was just like, I mean, it's simply, that's just playing the game. I feel like we've talked about this before, but there's the aspect of fantasy where it's the game and just like the strategy and all that. And then there's the actual football part. And so it's like you can find joy in both of them, or you can lean one way or the other. But I don't know, man. It's like all y'all play Magic. you know how to freaking play strategy games. You block stupid Magic there. Blocking this motherfucker.
And it's not hard, dude. Like, to just look at it. Like, it took me 2 minutes last night just to look at Gobby's squad and be like, oh, hey, he's got the Chiefs defense against Dallas this week. He's probably going to want to get a different, defense, right? He doesn't really have a good play. So guess what? I look at Gobby's team. He has $9 for waivers. That's it. So guess what? I put $10 down on both the top two defenses that were free agents. Dylan ended up getting one for $10. I got the other for $10. And lo and behold, Gobby was betting on him because he needed one. You just block him, It took me 2 minutes to realize that. And, that's what Nut was alluding to with Trike and B. Johns playing one another. Like, hey, just the funny thing about it was like, it was like it just didn't make any sense because neither one of them did anything at all to each other. And so it's just like, it didn't matter whatsoever because neither one of them put any strategy into it. And Trike came back at me like that night. He's like, worry about yourself, Red, or whatever. But dude, and it worked out in his favor at the end, but that was such a shot in the dark with the Cardinals defense. I was like, it didn't make any sense not to just go pick up one of the other defenses. Instead, you just spend $0 and you just take a huge, huge flyer on another team and it pans out for you. But at the end of the day, like, why not just put in your chips on this other that's like a for sure thing instead of taking this huge risk and just waiting and doing nothing on it?
Well, also, Red, on top of all of that, this was for all the marbles. That was the game of the year for them.
Well, right.
This was last week, yeah?
Yeah. So that's
So I mean, lose and you go home, and we're still not going balls to the wall. Come on.
And I like there's a one side of it I guess you can look through where if you're down, like, I mean, I've felt this way before too, where if you're like, okay, maybe I can make the playoffs, but you're looking at your team, stacking it compared to like top guys, you're like, oh man, there's no way I could beat them. So whatever, there's still no shot of actually winning it all. But at the end of the day, I mean, you obviously don't want to Sacco, and I mean, you want to make the playoffs, but you never know. But I don't know, man. It's just some of the moves that are being made recently, and then I look back at the trade deadline. I'm like, God damn, dude! Like,
well, think about
what's going on.
This. Just like a little bit of a snippet right here. B. Johns, right? Needed a wide receiver so fucking bad last week. Starts fucking Dubs again. Doesn't start Godwin. Like, the dude's just in a fucking conundrum in his own mind. And guess what? He doesn't. The two top wide receiver waivers last week that were in our league was Greg Dortch, fucking love me some Dortch, and Darnell Mooney. Both of them put up 13 plus points last week, and guess what? Dubs didn't do shit, and you picked up Mac Hollins, and he got you like 3 points or whatever. So you could have just won your game because he could have put $3 down on one of those players, just $3. Like that's all you needed. Mooney got picked up by Dylan after the waivers went through the next day.
Bring it back.
So it's things like that. You look back on it, it's like the B. John's hindsight 2020. Well, yeah, but you could also see the writing on the wall in a lot of these instances. Like you don't have to be a genius or a fortune teller to realize, oh, this would be a better move than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Well, and something I was thinking about too, just at the trade deadline, even before so, the cash, which I feel like this show we pound the table hating on the cash and everything, but the cash really screwed some people over this year. I mean, I just think that there were some moves that it was more so they got blinded by the money. It's like, got to get my dollars, man. Got to get my dollars. You know, it's cash is king. Cash is king. And what you end up doing is you trade away these hogs. You don't really get much back to actually like make your team competitive or anything. Like you just get some like guys that I don't know, maybe have some upside, whatever it is. But it was so much about the cash that just fucked them over. And it's like the idea of implementing the rule with the Sacco and losing half your any accumulated cash. It's like the tanking felt more real than ever this year. And it could have, I don't know, you know, maybe you could make the argument that it was just bad.
Well, wait, what do you mean the tanking felt more real? Like,
well, it just meant like some of the trades that were done with the amount of cash, especially like, because there's always that point in the time in the year when we get closer to the trade deadline. It's like, that's when you're like, okay, I'm not going to make it. I want to try to get my cash right now. But you have to find like a balance in it where and especially this year, it just didn't really make a lot of sense to me because everybody is still within the thick of things. It's the closest race we've ever had. But like, I don't know. I do think about like the Gibbs trade. I think about the Amon-Ra, because I just know from other people in the league that like some offers that were out there, not even talking about my own, but others, where I'm like, how do that one settle on that? And it was literally cash. I was told a couple of times by different people, COD being one of them, that like he needed cash. He wanted that dollar. He didn't, and for Travion, and I only had $3, even though I was offering a better player. You know what I mean? Just moves like that and stuff.
well, I think so. This year has been the closest year mathematically speaking, but I think that's what determines it kind of factors into your management. So everybody was technically within making the playoffs, but there were a number of teams, and you know who you are, who have no fucking business. They weren't going to make the playoffs. If they did, they're out immediately in a 50-point loss. And so pick a route. In past years, you've had the math has forced people down a certain path. Like, it says I have a 95% chance of not making the playoffs. Okay, fine. I'm finally done. Whereas this year, it left up to the manager to make the call or not. And what was irritating is it seemed like people should have known this more than the day of the trade deadline, a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance. The same thing Nuts talking about he's preaching on
With the waiver.
the Podley on the waiver. Yeah, you got a defense out next week. Well, maybe you should check it out the week prior. And especially the way people are hoarding defenses this year, everybody's got at least 2, 3 in some instances.
We're talking about leading up. You're already in the week. And it's like Monday or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. I can see my next matchup. And it's like the Tuesday comes around. Yeah, I definitely can see my week this week. and I got to do it on buy or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess I would like, I don't know, man. Like it depends the situation you're in and stuff. If it were like a tight end that I was like, okay, I need a bye week filler and a tight end, maybe I wouldn't give much of a shit. But when you're fighting
Well, and
for
I
your
feel
life,
like there's a lot of managers in this league that want to kind of turn the wheel like this. And sometimes if those managers just turned it like this, it would actually be better. And so that's where when COD gets the stack debate, COD is the manager that turns like this. And I mean, dude,
wonky out there.
if he doesn't run into me, I think he was the second highest scorer of the playoffs last year, the first week when we played. He would have had a chance at a chip with that strategy. It's exactly to my point. So I don't like the minimal turns. Give me something more. And too many people scared to get in the Sacco. I don't know what the reason is, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, just mind blowing. You got any thoughts, Red?
There's in the NBA, right? There's a thing called tanking and a thing called ethical tanking, right? Where you just can see when somebody's tanking and it's just obvious, and there's people that are ethically tanking where it's like, oh, I want to try, but I know I'm gonna not make it. We're really trying to go for the number one pick, and I think that's like kind of what we saw a little bit here when we talk about these trades, because I just see where, yeah, the money really just kind of dictated the rest of the trade, where in the sense that I'm sorry, but if you're doing any of your research and such, like say Gobby, right? Like his whole thing, like, oh well, Bucky when he comes back, if I make the playoffs, it's going to be great because he'll be back. But if I don't, then I won't win the Sacco, right? It's like, but dude, you don't have Bucky this time frame, so the fact that you think there's a possibility of you making it, I know it's not that high. He can sit here and he can talk about all day long. Oh, I'm going to make this playoffs. I'm going to bounce somebody out. You're not going to tell me you're 100% positive that's going to happen when you're literally the best player that you're trading for isn't playing for 3 weeks and you know it. So, like, he has to know that there's a strong possibility he's not going down. And that's just a stupid way of doing it and giving away your best player to a guy that's already averaging 120, 112 plus points. Dumb. Why not just shit on the rest of us there at the top, And and then the second thing is like, and then we go to Jaden's point. If you just look at the trend of how things were going with the players that Jaden traded for, I get that he wanted to get more players out of it, and he probably just wanted to get some cash for Amon-Ra. You could just look at the trend and be like, Amon-Ra is probably going to outscore all these guys by the end of the year. And so, but hey, I might get a little bit of extra leverage. I mean, I might get a little bit extra depth here. So when I get to the Sacco bracket, it's not going to be as big of a deal for me. Or maybe I slide into the playoffs and I lose first round, but at least I didn't go to the Sacco bracket. That's like the ethical tanking, right? Is like where you're still doing something, even though you know what your outcome's going to be. So like, that's my biggest issue with the trades. Were just like, I don't think they thought that they had a shot at winning anything. They just didn't want to lose, and they want more cash for next year. The problem is there's a lot of trends in this league, and the one thing we all know is that a lot of these people don't always draft the best, and so even if you have a lot of cash, doesn't mean you're going to have a good team. Jaden found that out this year. Gobby, he's another one. He had a decent amount of cash this year. I think Trike had a lot of cash this year. It's just that's what it is.
Yeah, honestly, maybe the word tanking isn't quite right. I think the way I actually truly feel about it is more just it's blinding. Cash is king. Cash is king. And I guess that's probably a bit my deep hatred. It's not hatred. I do like the cash. I blow it all, but it's like
you can't blow it if you don't have it, Willie.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, the cash is. Have you? I feel like on fantasy podcasts this year more than any other year, I've heard. I don't have anything specific. I just feel like it's popped up more so that leagues are at like an all-time trading low. Just your standard average fantasy football league members are not wanting to trade more so this year than past years, or even
Yeah.
they're kind of attributing it to like each year we progress further. There are more tools outside of the league. There are more articles. There are more
Yeah.
people on YouTube like making shows, talking stats, talking about all this fantasy
TikTok,
stuff. And
whatever
so then
else.
it's kind of like if you're getting proposed a trade, you are like, oh shit, well, what is that person like old school DVFFL? Like, what does this person know that I don't know or whatever? And so that's why I think we're going the opposite way. And it's because of the being able to trade draft cash. So whether you want to blow your cash, as long as we have cash, you want to blow cash, other people want to collect cash, it works.
It does work, right? Yeah. I think if anything, something I like thought about before with the league, and now it's kind of like playing it out even more. Is you just have it's like how Nut used to do the archetypes and everything, and I think you got the gamblers, like that, like this, they'll fucking wheel and deal either way, and you got the people that are more like risk adverse and are like, oh, I'll make a move, but it doesn't want to be too big of a move. I don't really know which one is exactly right, or if there is one that's exactly right. But I do know one thing: it's like fantasy is all about. I mean, there's a shit ton of luck in it, and so with that, it's like, okay, you're gonna have risk either way. If you're gonna you have to take some risk in the league to be able to actually go win it. And I'm thinking of the years past, the people that have made it to the championship, and even if you have made it to a championship, maybe you would have won it if there was something that was done. And whether it's a trade or it's a big flyer on a waiver wire guy, I don't know, but I think that there's a lot of like just kind of like timidness, which I get because we also have the tight race, but there's also like been seeing this for a while now, and maybe now it's starting to catch up to us where there's too much too much of that and it holds the people back. But
Yeah, I think like for me, I don't know what I've realized is like the cash is like it's like the devil and the angel on your shoulder, right? Like there's the good things and the bad things about it, right? Like the great thing about cash and the auction, right, is you can kind of dictate what you want to do and people can be more savvy and everything. But the downfall of it is that if we didn't have cash, I don't know. I think it completely has ruined our trade landscape. Like if we didn't have cash, I don't know if like say one day we were like done with cash, done with the auction, let's go back to just regular snake draft, no draft dollars or anything like that. I think we might get five trades done the whole year.
That's my
Like,
point. That's what everybody's been saying on the yeah.
and so I just wondered to myself, I'm like, but the problem is with that too is that is I just don't know. It's just interesting to me because I just don't see where things are going to change because we've been in this for what 6 years now. I'm not going to trade my players early. I'm just not. Like that's just not what I'm going to do. I think yeah, I know. I think that I have a good player evaluation when I draft, and I think I do a good job at that. But then there's going to be Calvins and Dylans where we know you guys are going to sell the farm. Like it's all good. Like we know what you guys are going to do. And I wonder if something like drastically is going to have to change the league up in order for us to actually see a change or a shift. And so Calvin before the show asked like, who do you realistically see winning a ship within like the next 10 years outside of the people that have already won a ship? And realistically, I can only think of maybe 2, 3 people because I just have seen how this management goes and the how it happens every single year. Like Bijan's 6 straight years not making the playoffs. Like I just don't ever see you winning a ship because that it's indicative of who you are as a manager at this point, right? So I just wonder what is going to cause us to like shift this whole thing where it's not going to be the same people doing the same thing every year and maybe somebody flipping the switch or turning the wheel a little bit harder, like Cal said.
Well, I think if you have 1, 2, 3 people turn that wheel harder, then that's going to just shift the league right there.
Mm.
That's about a quarter of the league, and they're all doing something different. What we have right now is I feel like this year is the first year where you can kind of look at teams and you already knew what they were going to do or not do before the trade deadline.
Mm.
Or at least I did. I feel like if you look at the names of the teams, look at the record, you probably had a pretty good idea of what they were trying to do or not do.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting because I mean there were some teams and like just seeing how other people's teams were constructed, it was like, okay, that's like a no-brainer. Yeah, like I knew, like Jaden, for instance, I knew that he was gonna want a QB, and so I was looking at other people. So I'm like, okay, B. John's got QBs, Calvin has QB, you know. So there was definitely trades like that we could see. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is that has caused us to be here at this point, but I don't know, you know, just a little more action, you know, like give us some flavor and stuff because it's like everybody's fighting for the playoffs practically. And you could, I mean, obviously, there's always times you could look at somebody's team, be like, okay, maybe it's not like actually good, but they're just getting some lucky wins and stuff. But for the most part, I don't know, man. Between 5 and I think the top 4 are going to be chalk, but 5 through 11, I would say there's a lot of action in there. So just making the moves and stuff. Like I just don't get it. I guess you know, just seeing some of it, I'm like, I don't like to think this way, but I'm like, I mean, there's a part of it where it's like, oh, you missed a move, like you know, the guys are on IR and stuff or whatever, and you're like, oh man, why did I think of that? Like picking them up right now, Joe Burrow, Mike Evans. No, I see you. But it's like there's that part where you just miss it, but then there's others where it's like you know it's there and you just I don't know, don't give a shit enough. And that's where I'm like, okay, I don't like that because like at the end of the day, I don't like the idea of where the league shifts in say 10 years or whatever it is, where it's just kind of like 4 or 5 people just always duking it out. And it's like the other part of it's just the game part of it. That's the part that bothers me, I guess, the most. Because Mike, I know we all watch football, and I know we all like games. So where's our where's our freaking fire in the DVFFL? Which is interesting too, because we've had a lot of chatter in there. I was thinking about this for myself the other day that I've been less chattery in there. And
he's calling out himself, everybody. He's calling out himself.
Yeah, no, literally, dude. Freaking 3-time champion becoming a mute. But no, it's so it's interesting to see like how like things are being managed by members and then the chatter that still pops through.
All right. Well, looking at this chart on the right, we know Nut is most likely getting that number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. So of the teams ranked 8th or lower, who do we as a league want making that spot? Who are a couple teams down there? Because Nut's picking, I think 7 and up are above the rest. So I think Nut is picking whoever gets that 8 seed. So who do we think has the best chance to knock him out in the first round?
Well, I think Diz, honestly. Like Diz has enough guys that if they actually like hit, he's got things clicking all cylinders, can make some noise. Like I was just reading a thing earlier about Quinshon. Shout out to the articles. That Quinshon has like one of the easiest running back schedules going forward. And he's got Jalen Hurts. Diz just needs to set his lineup right. That's pretty much all it is.
This is just taking after Trone this year. Just that start
Dude,
sit accuracy is tough.
if Diz plays nut in the first round, I'm gonna be like, all right, dude, I got to help you set your lineup.
Yeah, get in the classroom. Let's teach.
He actually told me the other day that he's just gonna go on to Fantasy Pros and whatever they say to start, that's who he's starting.
That's not the
Hey,
worst
Red,
thing.
if you would have done that, you'd have a chip. A second one.
You get a little frisky. Yeah, I don't want, dude. I don't want to. Because if I would have done that, okay, yeah, I would have had Devontae Smith, but I wouldn't have had any like half the other people in my lineup that I did. So,
Yeah,
but
his team was so good that Fantasy Pros couldn't select from any.
no,
Man, we could go bench
it-
spot number 4 or the
it
starter.
broke the
I don't know,
machine.
team's so stacked.
no fantasy pros would have never told me to start my quarterback against my defense. They'd have been like, "No, it's a dumb thing to do. Don't do that." So I don't know. In this group, yeah, honestly, Trike, no go. Nick, no go. Jaden, no go. Now that he doesn't have Sun God, his team has fallen so hard after getting that Dobbins and that QJ, like bad. So yeah, I think it's just between like Diz, and I don't want Gabi in there, so I guess just give it to Diz, you know.
But it would be Gabi would be next, huh? I agree.
Gabi would probably be next. It's just depending upon if Bucky, just like fucking got so fucking cocky, but literally needs like 5 players to actually play. Like, oh well, if Bucky plays, and if Terry comes back, and if BTJ returns to last year's form, like all these things happen, and yeah, I'm gonna be great.
Yeah, we're done with Terry, done with BTJ. They're both ass. Don't care if they're playing or not playing, whatever. It's a new year, and
Fucking
yeah,
Woody Marks,
don't
dude,
care about
backwood.
them.
Hey, backwood, nicey. Yeah, I would lean towards Gabi. Because the way I see it, like you're definitely right. Like Nut's gonna pick whoever's number 8, and so I just to be able to take down Nut, and it's like you need at least 2, 3 guys that can really boom for you. And I just don't really see any of the other teams having that. Maybe Cranky.
No, I know, and Cranky's
Yeah, like
1 week too late.
I mean, maybe, man. I remember I was bringing this up earlier at work that, like, Sweeper updated, as we know, and they had like the clinch playoffs and eliminated and stuff. And COD technically isn't eliminated from the system. And look how many points he needs to score behind B Johns, because like that's just whoever your same standings there is how many point differential it is. So it doesn't necessarily mean like like Cal, you have a shit ton more points than me, but you're like this 7-5. So if we were 8-4, then it would start with you. So it's like I have to go do the math again. I lost my other Excel spreadsheet, but I think technically 3OD could still make it. He would be an interesting one.
It depends on who all those teams are playing, because I feel like all those 5 and 7s, all somebody has to do is win. I guess.
But that's been the thing this year. It's like it's been nobody. Like there's been a couple wins.
If Cranky gets cranky like he did on you 2 weeks in a row, so he's scoring mass points and getting wins. It seems like there's a. Yeah. Does he? Did you check the nut report? I'm checking.
You know what we can do?
Because I know Nut was saying they're eliminated based on nobody's done it before. But remember, how many seasons do we have of playing 14 regular season games? This is the 3rd one, I think, since the NFL added the game to the schedule.
Yeah, I think so.
You following me? Yeah. So I feel like it might be like 5% or something, but I feel like Cody's still in play if he has 2 wins with high points. We're also talking about the guy that just scored his first 100-point game a week ago. So
I know. Yeah, don't remind me. Well, yeah, I guess he'd have to beat you, and then he'd have to beat Trone. Yeah, it's not the easiest. Who knows, though? But it's just wild to me because, like, I mean, the fact that we're talking about COD and 4-8, like, there's potential. Like, the system itself isn't saying you're eliminated yet. Theoretically, you are. COD.
Because even if he gets into the point differential, just I don't think he's going to make up the points with how many he scored this year. Well, actually, I don't know. Never mind. Everybody down here scored nothing. So
I was gonna say Diz has 1,139 and COD has 1,104. That's like a 20-something point differential.
The mayor says they're all peons.
Dude, it's just this like the end of this year is beginning to be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, certain teams are scoring over 100 points that haven't scored over 100 points. It's like, why does fantasy just fuck with us like this? Like, just randomly at the end of the year, oh yeah, this team looks like, just gives them a little bit of faith just to shit on them and lets us know, like, hey, you guys can still lose the dog shit teams. I don't get it. So it's annoying.
It is annoying.
The time of the year for getting.
Time of the year for playoffs, buddy. Yeah, it's quite the finish we're having here. But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be the top 4 chalk. I think that 5 through 7 there are gonna be jostling it out, trying to figure out where the hell they're gonna land. And those are gonna be some interesting matchups for the flexing because I don't know, man. I mean, it's like, I feel good about my team. I'm sure most of us do up top, but then you're looking at some of those other teams. I think Trone and Queen are probably the ones that I'm really leaning towards because Jesse's team's just having some weird problems. But I wouldn't really necessarily pick either one of those guys first if I had the choice. And that the 5 and 7 guys, everybody down there, I mean, that's why I'm just saying, like, dude, let's go. Somebody try to walk up that 8 seed, push for the playoffs, walk in your bag, too. That's the other thing. It's like, wanted that cash, go make number 8 seed, son. It's like, secure that thing. So you don't have to deal with that.
Also, just having to deal with I think, whether anybody will admit it or not, I think that last Sacco punishment was so fucking good. All around. We had a great time. Trone killed it. And then I also think it really hit people. It's like, oh fuck, dude, I don't want to do that. And so I think we have more people this year terrified of getting that Sacco than any other year, and I love it.
Yeah.
Another reason to get the 8 seed. Who fucking cares if you get blitzed in the first round? You don't want that fucking Sacco. We go up every year and we just hit with that comedy. What can we do next? It'll be good.
Yeah, dude. We'll go ahead, Red.
Just anybody besides the Cap. I want a little parity in the league. I just don't want another COD Sacco or another Bijan Sacco. Like, that's just no fun. Like,
Very ho-hum.
Yeah, it's just like whatever at this point. It was like, remember when Nut went down to the Sacco? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was like pandemonium. Like, fucking the Nut report was, I felt like, sad. Like, everything was sad. The pod league was sad.
He still thinks about that at night. He still thinks about that.
Oh yeah.
He does not like that.
Well, it's, being there 3 years removed, I still think about, I'm like, I just never want to go back down there again. It is so fucking stressful. For one, fantasy's already stressful enough, but to think that you have to be like the fucking piece of gum on somebody's bottom of their shoe, essentially, like, that just sounds like shit. And so, I just want it to be like that. Like, sorry, Diz, but if Diz was down there just like fighting for a Sacco, we would have so much entertainment. Like each week, we would be hearing something about this. Diz would be saying something. Oh my god. We'd be hearing the outside noise. Gobby, get him. I know he's won one before, but just get me somebody down there. If B. Johns and COD go down there, it's gonna be crickets. They're gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm namaste, or I'm bad at drafting, or whatever. Like.
You know what that means then. Just got to crack the whip even harder on that punishment next
Get
year.
cranky.
Yeah, get real cranky. But I'll tell you one thing. The comedy show was awesome. Pate killed it. But, man, I thought about it the entire time we were there. I was like, I would shit the bed up there. Would not be able to do it. I would go try, but it got to me. So
think of the Brandon punishment the year prior in Phoenix. Compared to last year. Like, holy shit.
Right. And I think, dude, it's just going to spark more ideas. Just how the league gets better, punishments will get better as well. But that's all I think I got to say about the management and everything else since we're getting up on our timing. Also, got to drive down to Roseburg. So if any boys are going to be in Roseburg, hit me up. I'll be down there for next 4 days. So, but yeah, good reminder too. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thankful for the league. Thankful for my 3 championships. I'll be even more thankful for the playoffs when they start.
Hey, look, we're all on a show together. The first time all of us champions. Calvin, look at that. It's the first time you've been on the time with a ship. I don't wear mine every day like Dylan does, but Dylan usually has. Yeah, there we go. There they are.
I mean, catch so many eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, final thoughts though, boys?
Just fucking manage your team, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, what else is there to say, dude? Like, I think it's baffling that Nuts getting on the pod league, giving people advice about their teams, and then we're also having discussions on here about people just doing just weird things. Like, nobody in this league is dumb. I don't think anybody in this league, if I look at everybody, I'm like, this is a stupid person. This is an idiot. I think everybody in here is obviously a smart person. Let's just be smart with our teams. I don't know. Just manage it.
Let's all add to the spice. It's the holiday season. This is where the chat, everything can kind of go. We love each other, and then 2 weeks of December, and man, everybody's busy for Christmas. No, start poking. Start poking people.
Yeah, Gobby, where the fuck's the shit talk, bud?
He saw that he was going to lose, and he immediately was done with it. Like, okay,
retreat,
bye,
retreat.
Gobby. Also, that game was not close. You lost by 17. Not close.
Yeah, Purdy's bad. All right, dude. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you got to say about that, huh?
We do know one thing. DBFFL is thankful for the shit talking. So.
Oh, hey, Nut. We need Pud Pounders back in stock. We've been talking about those in the office. We got fucking 55-year-old men pulling up dvffl.com. They got a pretty good kick out of the Pud Pounders, and disappointed we couldn't order.
I didn't even know we're out of stock. All right, good shout out there. Good shout
out. How
the
fuck do you even get it back in stock?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking Nut.
Get the call up Pud and order some pounders.
The company's just like, these are high demand. We can't supply as much product as being ordered.
Yeah, seriously. This is a world shortage.
Yeah, they fucking Trump's putting a fucking tariff on it. He's like, these things are fucking just. We gotta make money off it somehow. It's too good.
Lastly, shout out to Gobby. Good job, bud. Keep on the Gobby talks going. I'm getting ready to fire up in the car on my way down, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, I watched earlier. Great job, Gobby. Cleaner. Good to hear from you.
I heard Theo's in it, so that's why I'm going to tune in.
Dude, should have just left Theo in it the whole time. Al could have just wanted to take a nap or something. just
talking to himself with Theo.
Gobby would too.
Yeah.
But But no, and of course, shout out to Nut for probably and staying consistent, riding our ass as well. So, but we are back. It's week 13. Last couple weeks, playoff push. Let's go. Fucking get riled up, boys. And have a happy Thanksgiving. Trone, enjoy your L out there in Carolina.
Let's get cranky, motherfucker!
You're cranky!
9.